afternoon and welcome to Omega Generation TV. My name is Melfida and it's still day 3 of Camp 2023. Our mid-morning session has just come to an end, and today I have with me here Elder Amos Kevin-Annan. You're welcome, sir.
Hi, thank you. Hope you're good.
Yes, please.
Super.
And you?
Very well.
Great. So, sir, I'd like to ask this issue about fashion. Is it something we have to pay attention to, because it's a major thing as young people we tend to think about? Some people say it's normal and so we shouldn't think about it. Others say it's something that has to be thought about because as young people we tend to think about it, and in the long run it leads to these young relationships we have as young people, boy-girl relationships. What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, I always tell people who say they have a crash to get a crash helmet.
Wow.
Otherwise, you may break your skull. Otherwise, you have a crash land. You see, the concept of crash that has been propagated through Western literature is basically about admiration that has gone out of control. So admiration itself is fine, but when admiration gets out of control, it produces pressure on the individual. That is why you find a lot of young men and women who are under so much pressure because they are moving under the cloud of a crush. So admiration is good, attraction is fine, but it should not exert negative pressure on you. When it does, that's where it becomes a problem.
Okay.
So people should know it when it is happening and guide themselves away from trouble.
So, Elder, I'd like to ask, what are some practical ways you can do, like in which you can do this?
Okay.
Like to be mindful of when we have crashes, and then how we can navigate through these feelings and
The interesting thing about life is that being attracted to somebody, admiring someone, does not only end with being you. As an adult myself sitting here, I see young people I admire. You admire them for their outfits. You meet some people, you admire them for their height. You meet them, their diction. So you can admire people for different reasons. And that is where the people have these sentimental attachments to the person. So we need to help them to understand that it's very normal to see somebody that you admire. But it's helpful to verbalize the admiration rather than internalizing it and keeping it to yourself, because that can hurt you. That's why I mentioned in the session that a lot of boys see beautiful girls, they can compliment them, and then they have this in their thoughts and they go to sleep and they're having all kinds of wild dreams about those girls. It is better to affirm people than to bottle it up and struggle with it. That's one practical step. The second step is, if you find that you're getting drawn to someone, you've got to exercise maximum control, because you will be at the mercy of those individuals. If those persons are persons who are not properly, wired in terms of their values, they can mislead you because you're vulnerable. You look at them, you look up to them, you wish to be in their company, you want to be around them, you want them to talk to you. So pressure is on you. They may even be innocent, they don't even know. And so you've got to work on yourself to ensure that you have your parameters and boundaries right. Otherwise, you will mess up big time.
Thank you. So, affirm and then exercise control. So, Elder Amos, we're also talking about taking a purity pledge. Can you please go into that for us?
Well, I mean, it's a solemn promise you give to yourself, give to your parents, give to God, that I'm going to stay pure. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 from verse 1, the Apostle Paul talks about it, that God desires our sanctification, and it talks about keeping your body in holiness and in honor, two things that make purity possible. When I decide that I am rendering this as a sacrifice to God, that's the holiness bit. Then there is the honor bit, where I carry myself with dignity. So I don't reduce myself to somebody's fantasy piece, somebody's pleasure pack. If you become someone's pleasure park, anytime they want amusement or entertainment, they come to the park and
Very true.
you see. And there are so many individuals of young people that I've seen who have just been reduced to a pleasure park.